Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for joining me. Today I get to share with you a project for Gerda Steiner Designs, and we are using a brand new stamp set to the shop. This is called Ghosts. If you've seen my last video for Gerda Steiner Designs with the Moose Love, this and that are new to the shop, so I encourage you to check it out. This one is so cute. You have ghosts in here, and each ghost has a different expression. They're sentiments that would create birthday cards along with a Halloween themed card, which is great for us because we have a lot of October birthdays, and so I just fell in love with these cute little ghosts. You can see here we're going to stamp 3 of them to make our project today. This one is in scary mode. He's got his little mouth open. It's so cute. We're going to go ahead and stamp this one, and this poor little guy looks like he is just very, very surprised. And then for our third one, we are going to pick a ghost that looks like he is very scared. He's so cute. So I'm stamping with Memento ink on Nina 80-pound cardstock, and for a ghost, it's so easy to color. All I'm going to do is bring in 3 different colors of Copic markers. I chose the lightest shades that I had. For my first one, I'm going to be using a BG90. It's like a greeny grayish color, and I'm just using one color to do a little bit of shading for this guy. Just going around adding a few little shadows, and then I'm going to take my blender pen and kind of blend out the harsh edges just so it's kind of a little bit more of a even transition of the colors. But you can see it's pretty easy coloring ghost. For my next one, I'm going to use my C1 marker, and again we're just going to go around the edges. I think the expressions on these little guys are so cute. Today's card is not a Halloween card, actually. It's going to be a birthday card. Both me and the hubby's birthday is in October, and so I think this is going to work out great for him. We always tease each other about our age. But after I blended out my C1, I'm going to add a little bit of pink to his mouth and then work on our last little ghost here. For this guy, we're going to be using red violet and a very, very light color. It's RV000. So a little shade of pink. And actually in the photographs, it's very hard to see. Even on camera, it's very hard to pick up the colors. But they're slight, but they're there. So I just fussy cut my images out, and we're going to set those aside and work on our background. We're going to do a little bit of stenciling. So I have some white cardstock here, and I'm going to be using a stencil from Craft. It's called Typography, and it has letters and numbers on here, and I thought it went great with the sentiment I'm going to be using, especially the numbers. So I'm going to use 2 different shades of gray. Well, I'm going to use Black Soot and Hickory Smoke Distress Ink, and we're going to do a little ink blending over our stencil. But I thought we better cut out our panel first. So I trimmed it out, and then I used my pixie spray over my stencil and tacked that down over my panel. Now we're going to go ahead and do some shading with our Hickory Smoke, just slightly going all over those letters and numbers. And then we're going to do a little bit of blotchy shading with the Black Soot. I like the distressed look of this in different areas where it's darker to lighter. Okay, once this is done, we're going to bring in, I'm just going to clean off the edges because we're going to bring in some glimmer paste. This glimmer paste is from Nuvo, and it's got an iridescent hue to it, and when you add it to black, the color is so neat. It almost turns a masculine color, almost like a glistening camo color is how I can explain it. Maybe in some of the pictures you'll be able to pick it up, but I'm just going to use my stencil and go over not my stencil, my spatula here, and spread that glimmer paste all over my stencil so it's nice and even. If it's a nice even amount of paste, it dries pretty quick. So just remove my stencil, and you can see the color here. I'm going to twist and turn, and you can kind of see it. It's kind of a greenish, like an olivey green color with yellow hues to it. Like I said, it's just kind of masculine. So we're going to set this panel aside to dry, and in the meantime we're going to die cut out a circle with a piece of vellum. And this circle is going to fit just inside my panel. After this is die cut, this is going to be a great place to stamp the first part of our sentiment. I'm just going to arrange my little ghost in the upper portion, that way I know where to stamp my sentiment. I chose the one that says "How old?" ? I'm going to use my anti-static powder tool towards the lower part of my vellum, and then we're going to bring in my VersaFine Onyx black ink. We're going to stamp that here. Using the grid lines, it helps too on that vellum. You can see through it. I'm going to go ahead and add some clear embossing powder, just tapping off the excess, and then using my heat gun, I'm going to go ahead and melt that embossing powder so it's nice and shiny. And that's the first part of our sentiment. Second part is going to say, "That's so scary." I'm going to stamp that on some black cardstock. So again, I treated my paper with my anti-static powder tool. And then we're going to stamp "That's so scary" with VersaFine Versamark ink. I'm going to go over this sentiment with white embossing powder so it stands out against that black. And then we're going to go ahead and melt this as well. After this is melted, we're going to trim it down, and since this is a block letter sentiment, I'm going to bring out my Avery L Simple Sentiments dies. These work perfect for long block sentiments, and so I'm just going to find one that fits. We'll tape it down and run that through the die cut machine. And then that's our second part. Okay. We are going to grab some foam squares and flip each one of our ghosts over, and then I wasn't sure where to position my ghosts. Sometimes I like my circles to be offset a little bit, so I was still debating on where I was going to put those. But in the meantime, I'm taking my blending tool that has my hickory smoke and my black soot on there and going around the edges of my vellum. I think this is going to help it stand out against that glimmery background. And then I'm going to highlight the center of it with my ink blending tool that had fossilized amber on it. I didn't add any extra ink, but I kind of wanted to look almost like a moon, kind of, sort of. I'm going to go ahead and pop up my ghost right on top of the sentiment there. And then once I'm happy with the placement, I'm going to take my scissors and just trim off a very small portion and have a straight edge on the right side of that circle. We're going to add foam tape right behind the elements so you can't see it, and place that on our panel. And I already had popped up my panel and placed it on my card base, which is an A2 size card base. I just used a piece of fun foam for that. I just added Morning Dew. It's like a glossy accents to my little ghost eyes, and that finishes off my card for today, guys. If you're interested in the stamp set, you know where to look, down in the links right below this video. There, you just click on them, it'll take you straight to the shop. But it's such a cute stamp set. Thank you so much for stopping by. I wish you a lovely day, and we will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.